of the events that are taking place. If there is no neutrality, it is hard to imagine any good neighborly relations between Russia and Ukraine. Why? Because it means that Ukraine will be constantly used as a tool in foreign hands, and to the detriment of the interests of the Russian Federation. Thus, the basic conditions for the normalization of relations will not be created, and the situation will develop according to an unpredictable scenario. We would very much like to avoid this. On the contrary, we are determined to create the conditions for a long-term settlement and for Ukraine to become an independent sovereign state, rather than being a tool in the hands of third countries and used in their interests. What is happening on the front lines, say, in the Kursk region? They entered this region, and their losses are enormous. In 3 months, the losses are more than the Kiev regime lost last year, more than 30,000 people. Well, they have lost fewer tanks now, about 200, and last year they lost about 240. They just have fewer tanks in general, so there are fewer losses here, they use less. And why are they sitting there, suffering such losses? Because the orders from overseas are to hold on at all costs, at least until the elections, to show that the efforts of the Democratic Party in the Kiev direction were not in vain. Now in many directions, in the Kupiansk direction, I do not know whether the military said it or not, there are 2 centers of blockage there. In one, Ukrainian troops are surrounded and pressed against the reservoir. A group of about 10,000 soldiers is blocked. The other is near Kupiansk. There are about 5,000 soldiers. They are trying to put pontoon crossings in order to partially break out at least. But our artillery instantly destroys them. Well, 2 directions in our area of responsibility of the center group of forces. There will probably be a third soon. The Ukrainian military sees everything, but the decision to fight is made at the political level. We are ready for peace talks, but not based on Kiev's wishes, the name of which changes from month to month, but rather based on Istanbul agreements and today's realities. Only the ceasefire should not be for half an hour and not for half a year so that shells can be brought to them, but to create conditions for the restoration of future cooperative relations in the interests of the 2 peoples, which are undoubtedly fraternal, no matter how much the rhetoric is complicated by today's tragic events in the relationship between Russia and Ukraine. We certainly condemn any manifestation of terrorism. The attack on Israel on October 7th is a manifestation of it. But, of course, the response must be proportionate. You know, we must now strive to minimize the suffering of the Palestinian people. We have to stop the fighting there immediately. Sure that both Israel and Palestine, in this case Hamas, agree on this. We have to look for ways to find mutually acceptable solutions. Are there any? A question: is it possible? I believe that yes, it is possible, as strange as it may seem. We even have our own thoughts on this. We are even trying to talk to all the participants in this conflict, trying to find what might be acceptable to all. And on the whole, there may be light at the end of the tunnel. I try not to spoil anything, only to improve everything, but today's conditions are very peculiar. They put an imprint on everything, including our relations. I also had good relations with French President Emmanuel Macron. Were they bad? I also talked to German Chancellor Olaf Scholz, but at some point they decided they didn't need it. Well, if they don't need it, let it be. I'm telling you, I also had normal relations with Republican Party candidate Donald Trump. I don't know if he wants to talk to me now or not. I had normal relations with U.S. President Joe Biden as well. We met with him in Switzerland, we chatted, we talked on the phone, we called each other, we joked, we laughed. There is no Russian gas in Germany now, and the consequences are severe. Not only because of that, but including that. Now we have yet to see anything that could replace it all. I am talking to our experts, and now I will just repeat what they said. But I don't want to offend anyone, God forbid, as it doesn't sound good. I ask my colleagues, the experts, what is lacking in Europe now? The answer is that they lack brains. Not because they are stupid, no, but because economic decisions are made by politicians who have nothing to do with the economy. It's not a healthy reaction. Every word triggers a stream of consciousness. The current and newly elected president, Donald Trump, was accused of having ties with Russia. Do you remember? Then they held congressional hearings, created a commission to investigate